Hello and welcome. I want to share with you all some in-depth, I guess you would call them, they're not really discoveries, but just deeper understandings that I've had that have to do with the transformation that we are all going through collectively and individually. My journey has taken me to some extreme depths of transformation, as we all are having our own experiences with the Scorpio South Node. And just yesterday into today, I had another in-depth trigger to some deep-seated fears and things that still live inside of me. And I'm titling this video, Superman is Not Coming. The superhero lives within each and every one of us. That is actually the title of a book by Erin Brockovich. Many of you have heard of her. She is an environmental activist. There's been a movie made about her, and I had the pleasure of seeing her in person not too long ago. She visited Westchester, Pennsylvania, where I live. And anyway, and I'm a fan of metaphors. That metaphor touched me very deeply this morning, which is why I'm making this video. So what's been happening? What's always been happening, but much more intensely now in the last few years, as we are going through this really large cycle. And I'm not going to go into all of the astrology of it. But we've had some pretty major planetary impacts from 2020 up to date that are designed for us to wake up in consciousness, wake up to our patterns, wake up to our fears, our habits, wake up to the reality of what is happening around the world collectively, what has been happening around the world historically, and how it is repeating itself yet again, but to the detriment of the planet and the detriment of humanity. And I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer. I'm actually here to help elevate, enlighten, as I have been over and over and over again through the course of the last few years. So what happens? Scorpio, the South Node. So you think the North and South Node of the moon are known in Hindu or Vedic astrology as the head and tail of the dragon, Rahu and Ketu. So if you think of this dragon, I just got the chills. You think of the South Node in Scorpio is the dragon's tail, and it is swooshing around all of us, and it's stirring up the muck. It's stirring up the darkness that we continuously push away, run and hide from, pretend it doesn't exist. It's somewhere else. It's not here where I am at this moment, until it gets you. And I know from experience that many of us, the empowerment that we gain when we allow the muck and the dirt and the fear, the darkness to get stirred up, is when we actually allow ourselves to feel it and to really go to the depths of it, what it is showing us. And for each and every one of us, it is different. I will give you an example for myself. My Scorpio is actually my sun sign in my second house of resources, finances, home. I've had a lot of these things stripped away from me since 2018. But when I allow and understand I'm gifted with enlightenment, and somehow miraculously things come back together again. I'm not going to say I haven't reacted to these things in the past. I certainly have. But I've learned over the course of the last 5 years or so to really allow myself to feel, allow myself to have the experience, not fight it, not blame. That's a big one. Where am I going with this? Many of us who are going on the awakening path, and then those who are just beginning, have had habits, because we are sensitive, we are energetically sensitive, we are empaths. When we get triggered into really deeply feeling our feels, we don't want to go there. It's too painful, it's too hard, it's too difficult, and we reach and we grasp for help. We call for help on other people, on Superman, as well as whatever has worked for us in the past to not feel the intense feelings that these energy transits bring up, whether it be distracting yourself completely from what it's bringing up, numbing it out. A lot of Americans, I don't know about everybody else in the world, are on some form of medication, antidepressants, and all kinds of things to numb the pain, to not feel the feelings, because we feel like we're going crazy, and it's not socially acceptable to seem crazy, right? I've learned that one the hard way too. Alcohol, you name it. But a lot of people are finding now that these methods and techniques are not working for them as they once did. And so we find a lot of people really spinning out and, going in circles, trying not to see the truth or feel the feelings that are being stirred up by the South Node. The trick is, and it feels like a trick because of the way that we've all been programmed, is to actually feel, allow yourself to feel. Because energetically speaking, our emotions are our power. That is our superhero. Lies in the emotional field, in the emotional body. I just had to go through this deeply this morning with many visions that I received. Feeling my fears, crying, going into that mode of I don't know what I'm going to do type thing, and coming out the other side after a few hours of that with great realizations for myself and remembrances of how many times I have gone through this Scorpio purge, spiraling all the way down to the bottom in the deep depths of pain, fear, loneliness, desperation, to see that when I let go of needing to control or run from it, that I finally find myself reconnected to, and this is what we're being awakened to, source energy, our connection to our higher power, our higher self, and source energy. That's what many people run from, because it starts off with the tail of the dragon swooshing around. And what does the tail of any animal do, or the tail end of all of us? It excretes, it releases. It has no head. It cannot consume. It cannot take in new. It must release, let go, excrete what is waste, what could be toxic if you continue to hold it in, metaphorically speaking again. And so that is really deeply what, in a nutshell, we've all been experiencing, cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. And with Scorpio, the South Node, it's gotten pretty intense for many of us, especially, depending on where Scorpio is in your chart. These are deep-seated, deep-rooted fears and sources of pain for us all, stemming right back to our childhood, from the very beginning of our time here on this earth. Scorpio is our 8th house. It is the 8th house of the natural zodiac, the house of death, the house of sex, the house of other people's money, and also the house of rebirth, new. It's not all dark and scary, but we have to visit the dark and the scary to get to the new. And it's important to understand this. The North Node still in Taurus, and we still have these, and the dragon's going to move to Aries and Libra, but we're working with the very end before the nodes move into signs very intensely. North Node in Taurus, depending on where that is in your chart, is our sense of security, stability, how we feel grounded and rooted here on this planet, in these bodies. And I know that a lot of that has been stirred up for many of us. And it's important to really stay in your own lane and not compare your journey, your experiences to others. What they have that I don't have, or what I have that you don't have type energy has, that's something that's got to go. So if you find yourself on this awakening journey, and you find yourself very scared and alone and isolated, and these times are definitely designed for this, and collectively as well. Collectively, we are, whether you like it or not, I'm constantly forced to look at suffering, pain in the world, spiritually, energetically. And these are things that, we can only take so much before it starts to take a toll on us. But Spirit, my guides, have it set for me to understand how much I can tolerate before it starts to impact and affect me. And I find that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. And I think that you can too. The point of doing this video is that it's important to not wait around for someone or something to come rescue you. Each and every one of us have a very unique path. There are times in our life, in our journey, where the divine will touch down and reach us. And this is our assistance in getting us out of stuck, stagnant places that we have not felt comfortable or safe enough to move from. So you may have events, and again, this is 8th house energy, events that happen that open you up and force you to move, or force you open to recognizing that there is way more to this life and way more important things to this life than what the mind had been fixated on for and hypnotized into for a long time. This could be a death of a loved one. This could be birth, the beauty of birth. Many of us have another soul, another person come into our life temporarily to really crack us open and wake us up in aspects of our lives. I find this a lot in the twin flame community. If any of you resonate with that, I've had that experience as well, and fell privy to thinking that the person that came into my life that cracked me open to being closer to the divine, to source energy, understanding and recognizing my relationship to my higher self, my soul self, my spirit, and that there were spirit guides, there was so much more to life. We have these moments, they're cataclysmic moments, they're catalysts. And usually we're not ready for that type of connection to continue on. We're just freshly awakened. It is the divine touching down through another human. And this doesn't happen necessarily, it does not have to happen through a romantic or sexual encounter. This can also happen through children, through animals. Our hearts get touched deeply enough to awaken us to our connection to source, to our true soul self. So it breaks my heart, and I had been one way back when, where you're just waiting around for this other cosmic connection to come back around, or waiting around for a cosmic connection to walk hand in hand with you on the planet. And I'm sorry if I'm triggering anybody out there. I'm not saying that you're not going to have that experience, but the catalyst is designed to wake us up to our true nature, to our soul and our spirit, and to our connection to spirit, source, God, the cosmos. And we do have moments in our life that we have these touchdowns, and each time it's more and more profound until you're finally like, I get it, and we're not needing source to come and touch us and hold our hand. Although we'll still get moments of that as well. But the point is to recognize that superpower within yourself. Recognize that your energy is through your emotions. Emotions in motion is energy. And, E equals MC squared. Our emotional body, our energy is what goes into what we are creating in the outside world. So there's so much confusion also through this, and I understand. I had been privy to that way back when as well. How do I word this? It is very true, the manifestation through the emotional, through the vibrations, through the belief systems. But this is something you cannot fake it till you make it, because this is not reading in your thoughts, it's reading into your energy field. And so we carry things in our energy field that we are so not aware of. A lot of it is subconscious beliefs about ourselves, about others, about life itself. And that is really what we're all getting cracked open to, understanding at a much deeper level, to the point where we realize we are the creators. But what are we creating? And what thoughts and beliefs and emotions are creating what we are experiencing? A lot of it is in our blind spot that we're not fully aware of. But we are working towards becoming our own magicians, this alchemical process that we all possess the gifts and the superpowers to create. We also have our own unique blueprint and life path that's pretty much mapped out, astrologically speaking. But even if you know your birth chart by heart, you always are faced with a choice at every given moment. And it is energetically, it is emotionally, and we get triggered into knee-jerk reactions. We get triggered into, anger, betrayal, placing blame, and we carry that around unconsciously, subconsciously within ourselves to just continue to project that and create more and more and more. And that's basically it in a nutshell. What I wanted to put out there is to be aware of the energy that is working for us and through us. It doesn't feel great, and that is because we have thousands and thousands and thousands of years of darker life force energies that have really taken over on this planet, and we're being asked to wake up to our own heart, our own light, because the energy of love is the most powerful energy in the universe. And when we can get to that stage where we are operating from the heart and not from fear, not from anger, not from placing blame on anything outside of ourselves, that is when we are powerful creators and can create great change for ourselves and for others. Because this is not only about ourselves as individuals, this is about the world, this humanity. So sorry for the deep message, but I wanted to make that clear because I know in a lot of the readings I do, this does come out, and it is pointing out our blind spots. It's pointing out certain areas that you may not be aware of, that you're still projecting and being affected by. And it's helpful for a lot of people who are very aware of this, but some people who are still working through things that they're self-conscious about, or have this mindset that if I just stay high vibe and positive think my way through everything, that everything's going to be okay. And that may have worked for you in the past, but understand that there are deeper and deeper layers that we carry within ourselves, that these transits and these energies outside through the cosmos are working. The head of the dragon is consuming, eating, and the tail of the dragon is releasing, letting go of the old. So that's all I have for now. I hope that this was helpful for some of you, and I hope I didn't confuse many of you. I know that I, sometimes can trigger people, and I don't intend to. Everything that I record, everything that I read comes from my heart and soul, as a mission of mine to really assist others that are going through the awakening journey, as I know it is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart, but it is meant and designed for every single human being to eventually embark on and go through. So, sending you out so much love. Take care. Bye.